when your power goes out for an extended period of time, or when you go off-grid for days at a time.
I'm unmuted.
Haha. Alrighty, it is 11 o'clock, so we are going to get this show started. And anywho, I know we have a couple of you with us, so thank you for coming in. Welcome, 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 fellow humanoids. This is the Drunk Witchstory with Rook, that's me, and Salon, that's him. Just kidding, we'll clarify later. We're bringing to you some fun and fascination with A to Z and modern history of all things witches, witchy, wacky, and weird. I actually, now I'm being honest, I try to go on the darker side, but it usually doesn't work. I am Salon Natalwin, self-described pagan and tarot crystal hoarder. And I am here with Rook Tempest, who's actually this other person that's in the room with me right here.
Hello. Hi.
So we are planning to have a bit of fun and some lighthearted discussion about all things witchy. Like history, getting warm under the whiskey lights while we're talking about it. One of my favorite shows, which isn't, there isn't enough episodes up to be honest. Drunk History, if anybody's seen it, maybe. Really is one of my favorite things, one of my favorite shows. So I was like, why don't we do something like that with some witch history? Something we've been planning for a while, and we just haven't actually started it. Thought, you know what, day before Halloween, found a good time, and decided we're gonna make it work. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of things, alternating maybe between historical and modern witches, and doing it every Friday. I think our initial time is going to be 11 o'clock. We're trying to figure that out, so it may take a little bit longer to figure that out exactly. But anyway, so throughout the stream, we invite you to please share any thoughts, ideas, anything you're thinking of about the person we're talking about, or about anything really. And never least, feel free to tell us when we're wrong, because we do that probably quite a bit. 100% open and active. We're going to probably start looking stuff up while we're on the stream, because each week one of us is going to research somebody, the other one isn't. That way we can kind of balance it. And Rook here has chosen somebody this week to do, and so I don't have any research. So I might be looking stuff up as we go through to come up with some more things. We don't have a planned end to the stream either, so I don't know, we might go into tarot. We do have a couple of tarot cards, so when we do like a modern witch, we will probably kind of talk about some of the things they may have printed. Like today, we'll have an oracle deck we will talk about that's related to the person. So again, this will probably be a 20-30 minute talk about this individual. This is a modern witch this week. Next week, we're going to do a historical witch. Pagan, doesn't have to be anything specific, to be honest. So we're really glad you're here, and hope you have some fun. And again, this is absolutely an open, put shit in the messages. If you want to talk on the Discord, we will bring you in. This is 100% open. We're just trying to have a little bit of fun and learn a little bit at the same time, and share some information. So before we get started and actually get into today's honorary guest, who doesn't know they're the honorary guest, so I want to talk a little bit about who we are. And what we do. So, Rook, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
It doesn't matter.
All right. Well,
Go ahead.
I'll start. So not most. That's hilarious because I act like I have this huge following, right? So many people know me as Palms Piranhas. I stream video games for a long time. My gamer tags usually have to do with that. However, in our mystic and pagan circles, I'm known as Salon. Or Mystic Salon, as we're trying to adjust our process over. So Salon Natalwin ultimately means or is Old Gaelic for salt of the earth. I am a Virgo sun, Virgo moon, and Taurus rising. I have a ton of earth. I'm very connected to earth. That's my thing. So salt of the earth really felt appropriate for me. And then salt being something that can, cleanse and destroy. So putting those two things together, obviously, if you know anything about religion, those are religious related. I do not take on the religious meaning of that in the Bible, not my book. So probably walk into a church, catch fire at this point. So I've been streaming for a while in the past, and haven't for quite a long time, and figured we'd get back into it, getting our tarot stream back up and running, switching kind of from games to that, and then getting Rook in here, and starting off with this new process. So, Rook, it is your turn.
All right, I'm Rook. It is my first time streaming, so don't be too mean. So, my name Rook Tempest. I love Corvid birds and I love storms. So, when I picked my magical name a couple years ago, it was Rook Tempest. I started my spiritual journey a couple years ago. I've studied a little bit of Wicca, a little bit of Druidry. I'd probably say what I like to practice is Druidcraft, but I'm interested in all things. I love candle magic, and I learned about a year and a half ago what can happen if you don't set your intention clearly. When you do any kind of spell or working, it can really backfire in different ways, and I think Loki made an appearance about a year and a half ago and taught me a good lesson. But I've really enjoyed it. I'm starting to get into a little bit of tarot, and that's about it for me.
Awesome. So, Sylvie, thank you so much for pointing that out. We did do some test streams earlier. We made a lot of changes later on, so if something sounds a little off, too low, too loud, too quiet, please feel free to just, shout it out, and we'll correct that. I'm pretty good at using Streamlabs for the most part, but it's not always very good at using me. So we'll see how that goes. But if you have trouble hearing Rook, just let me know, and we'll see if we can get that taken care of. So, did you show him your tattoo?
Who?
You, Rook Tempest.
Oh, which one? Which one?
Rook Tempest.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I did not show
Your sleeve's too small. Mm-hmm. See.
Oh wait, I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
But my you can't see my witchy one, huh?
Yep, we can see them all.
Ah, there's my bird. He's up there. But no, that's my Rook one. My name.
Awesome. So we are going to make one small adjustment.
And you wouldn't catch on fire in the church. You went to my sister's wedding.
Yeah, but then I got disinvited. But anyway.
Well, there you go.
No, I shouldn't have said that. That was very inappropriate because, to be honest, that we went up and visited family. It was an amazing visit. I had such a good time with your sister. Everybody, really. We just really, really had a good time.
That's nice. Yep.
Yeah. I did turn Rook sound up a little bit. If that doesn't fix it, Rook, I'm going to ask you, not yet, but I'm going to ask you to turn up your input volume in Discord because that should make an adjustment there. So, yeah, there's some duplication of sound, which is probably coming through Discord and Streamlabs at the same time. We'll get that figured out and see how it goes. But the other thing you might be able to do is up your mic aux just a little bit, maybe 1 decibel on Streamlabs. That might make a difference as well. So, we're going to get in.
Better.
Just keep talking, and we'll see as we go. So, because it might take a little bit of time. Oh, the drinks are already kicking in.
I popped something to another thing. Hold on.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about Fiona Horn today.
Ooh.
So we decided to pick a modern witch. We're getting into, obviously, at least in our neck of the woods, Eastern Standard, we're 51 minutes away from Samhain. There's a lot of different people that we can look at as far as, witches and stuff, and there will probably be more than one part to Fiona Horn, but somebody I've recently learned about. We want to kind of, go through that and talk a little bit about her and kind of her history and what she does. She has some really good messages. I will admit it's a little bit love and light for me, but the message is still good. So, I tend to consider myself a little bit more on the pagan side. I like the word heathen, but I won't use it because I'm not specific to, nor do I know enough about the Norse side of things, and they kind of have that heathen word held to them. So I stick with pagan. I stay focused on, I don't want to say dark, but I don't I have different views on balance, I guess, and it's not. Anyway, you probably have heard it, but who knows? Um, so really, in my own path and the way that I do things is a little bit less about balance and a little bit more about theology and theosophy and philosophy of how things and why things are. Not necessarily that those things are good or bad, right or wrong, but just how they are. I don't also really subscribe to the there must be darkness in order for there to be light and light for there to be darkness, and you should go, kiss puppies and fart unicorns, um, or, shit glitter. But just my opinion. Um, Brad is definitely a glitter crapper. I'm kidding.
Probably though, out of the two.
Probably. Um, but yeah, so I know we're probably stalling for just a few more minutes. Reason being, we want to just make sure that everything sounds good, everything is lit up properly on our channels. We have done streams through Discord before, streaming tarot and other things, but I've never hosted or initiated stream with one other person on it video. Done audio all the time, and that seemed to have always worked, but this is the first time I'm doing it with that video piece on it. So we just want to make sure that everything's nice and good. We've seen a lot of streams and a lot of live events over the past 6 months where the sound isn't all that great, or you have difficulty hearing. It just really messes up the process. So also not a big fan of wearing these big ass headphones and microphone. However, they seem to give us a much better sound. So yeah. So that being said, I don't know if you want to give any more information about what your path is, or if you want to jump into talking about Fiona. Either way.
Yeah, I really like Fiona Horn. I think she's an amazing, just human being. And here, I know you're going to say that love and light, but she's really awesome. And as someone who's been able to manifest so many things in her life and do different things, has anybody heard of or know of who Fiona Horn is? You have to tell me if they're staying on yours.
I will, but I will tell you, for me, just for the record, I had never heard of her before, and apparently she's probably pretty well known. We did start talking or subscribing to this, I guess, metaphysical type Hulu or Amazon or whatever you call it, Prime. What's the other one? Netflix. It's like an enlightened, woken Netflix thing, right? It's called Gaia. I kept getting ads for it for like 2 years. I'm like, I'm gonna finally, let me go ahead and take it. So we got it and actually found some really cool stuff on there. It is definitely love and light, but there's also lots of UFO and paranormal, that other kind of stuff if you like it. To check it out. So it was pretty cool. But that's where I heard about her first. And initially, I will tell you, I'm like, this crazy Australian blonde Barbie is all about the love and light, and come down to it, she's done some pretty cool stuff. So she is, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. So I guess we can go ahead and start our witch history. Even though I'm not drunk yet, I don't even have a buzz.
Drink if you have a drink.
Unfortunately. But yes, cheers if anybody's drinking.
Cheers. And cheers to all of you, and cheers to Fiona Horn.
Yeah, I don't think Sylvie's probably drinking, but if you have one, tip it up. Get some water. Have a Tums.
Have water. We got water too.
Oh yeah, got wine too. All right, go ahead. I'll quiet down so that you can get started. Again, anybody in stream, please let me know if you're having trouble hearing him, so we can make some adjustments. But otherwise, we'll get going.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm really excited to talk about Fiona Horn. This is just an awesome lady, an awesome witch. She is actually a witch that is from Sydney, Australia. She's had a ton of crazy, cool jobs. She is a modern witch, and she has recognized in Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States as a pretty good and a leading expert on modern witchcraft. Now, what makes her an expert? I think her experience and just what she's done. So to go back to the 1990s, she was the lead singer of an Australian rock or electro rock band called Def FX, DEFFX, and she actually still tours with them today for special events, for fundraising events. Prior to Death FX,
But before you go on to death, yeah, before you go on though, um, Rook's accent does change when he's nervous doing a stream.
I'm from Texas, y'all.
So his accent changes when he gets nervous. It's hilarious.
I've never done this before. I don't know the wordage and all the termage and all the stuff, but I'm here to do it and have fun.
Shut up. It's really funny for me though, because whenever I get on stream, and especially if I'm drinking, my voice goes up like 10 octaves. It's hilarious. But anyway, since you're talking about Def FX, and I don't really care about monetization. That's not why we're doing this.
What?
Monetization. I don't have it. I'm going to play a little clip from Def FX. This is Fiona Horn's band.
And teach me how to do this. I don't know the time thing. I don't hear anything. You all hear them?
All right, so I just want to play that short clip because it was funny. I know you couldn't hear it because I had to take off the little thing that was making you echo. So hopefully you guys heard that. It's hilarious, but it's actually pretty decent music and she can sing. Sorry you couldn't hear it, Rook, but yeah. So anywho.
Research it.
We'll research it, yeah. So you can go ahead, continue on. That was a little bit of Def FX with the lead singer Fiona Horn, self-proclaimed witch.
Well, I was just saying that, so in the 90s, she was the lead singer of Def FX. But before that, she was actually in two other bands. She was with Sister Sledge, which was a band, her first band that only stayed together about 6 months. And then the Mothers, which was a punk thrash band. So after her musical career, she went on to write books. In fact, 10 books about modern witchcraft. And those would include like The Witch is one of them, Magical Sex, LA Witch, Pop Goes the Witch, and Art of Witch. And I want to take back a little info. She, as a young girl growing up in Australia, she could feel and hear things that were different. She didn't know what a witch was, but she's always felt a little different. I have not read any of her books, but I can tell you I will be getting some of them. She also, in addition to 10 books, she just released, probably a couple months ago, maybe not even that long, an oracle card deck called The Magic of You. I don't know if it's not too dark, you can see it. We got it. Magic of You, Oracle by Fiona Horn.
And just since you're mentioning that, we actually both have this particular deck. Haha, funny. I have a little bit of a tarot hoarding issue. I don't know if you can see behind me, it's a little dark, but there's 140 decks on that shelf back there that are mine. So yeah, and I do use all of them. Each one has its own reason. But anyway, I didn't mean to jump in and interrupt, but I did want to say we're going to hang out long enough, probably, that we will do some readings or some oracle pulls, if anybody would like to, after we do our Witchstory between the two of us with Fiona's deck. Magic of You Oracle. Go ahead.
Please jump in anytime. It's not an interruption. So, with writing her 10 bestsellers, they actually did really well, her books. Fiona was invited to share her expertise and insights, experiences on witchcraft and paganism at Harvard University. She definitely, and I hope you'll get this from what we go over, is a person that lives her life to the fullest. She was also a snake handler, or is, a world record holding skydiver, and scuba diver. She was really actually, in addition to her musical career, big into Hollywood. She moved to the U.S. and has appeared on shows and entertainment programs such as The Tyra Banks Show, E! News, Australian version of Celebrity Survivor, and the magical web series WickedTV.com. She starred in the opening season of the Australian production of The Vagina Monologues and has appeared in some independent films such as Cult and Unbeatable Harold. So she went, think about it, she went from, she was in music, then she was an author, she's a witch, she's been on TV, she's a snake handler, world record holding skydiver, and scuba diver. Currently, her job, she has stepped away. A few years ago, she was married, but her husband left her for another woman, right? You're thinking, oh God, this is a witch, she could hex him.
I would have.
I would have too. But she didn't. I would have hexed that motherfucker. But
Yeah, if not interrupting again, but if anybody's not aware at this point, Rook is my husband. He thought I was embarrassed to share that on stream earlier, so I'm pointing it out. I would X that out quickly. 6 years married, 13 together. Dear God, it's been a long time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So she didn't, but when her husband left her, she did go through a dark time. She went through a bit of alcoholism. Not too much, she didn't consume her, but she was kind of in the dumps. During that period of her life, she took a job as a marketing manager for an aviation company. She taught yoga and she fire danced at events to save money to pay for her school to obtain her commercial pilot license. And that's what she does right now. She's currently a commercial pilot and works for a charter company out in the Caribbean. And she also coordinates and executes humanitarian aid missions. She is a vegetarian and a former vegan. So, through all this, to me, like, just the different jobs and the different things she's manifested in her life. Another thing is, I think we all change, we all grow, we all morph, but when she was young, she talks about, in an article actually, titled A Few Questions with Fiona Horn from 2018, April 4th, 2018, from atheos.com. She talks about being young and being a little girl growing up in Sydney, in the bushland. She could sense that the magical world was, or the natural world was magical and accepted her. She was bullied at school and lonesome at home, but animals, birds, and trees, the river accepted her. She would make her little altar. She didn't know what it was, but she made little altars with colored stones, leaves, and flowers as offerings to the magical world.
Okay, can I just stop you there for a second? Two things.
Anytime.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for the approval. I was going to do it anyway. Yeah, take a drink there. Don't ram the wine glass into your microphone, just so you know. First thing, hello to Wandering Star Guide. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Hope you can hear us good. We're still getting used to everything here as far as doing a stream like this in this manner. But I wanted to kind of point out like the whole interesting thing with her about how when she was bullied at school, or when things weren't going well, or people didn't like her at school, or things that happened, the birds, the trees, and the rivers didn't feel that way about her. They loved her, they cared for her the same way that she did with them. And while that does sound all love and light, there's nothing wrong with love and light, by the way. It's just not my specific thing. I still feel connected to the earth. I still feel connected to the things around me. And I think it was really neat that her pathway that she chose was to work with those things. I just thought that was really cool when you were talking about that earlier. And I remember when we watched her interview on one of the other channels, and for those of you just joining them, we're talking about Fiona Horn. We're doing a little bit of witch history on a modern witch this week. Next week we'll be doing a uh, historical witch, somebody from a little bit time far right, somewhere a little time far off, but right now, again, Fiona Horn is the person we selected, and a lot of it is because we've recently been introduced to her, but because she's manifesting things. Like, she's literally shown us what manifesting is. She's not just a witch. She is a person who uses her connections to everything around her to manifest things that make her life better through the means of making others' lives better, through humanitarian efforts, food deliveries to places that couldn't get it, using her commercial pilot license that she got through hard work, which is a manifestation that helped not only her for her joy in life, but for bringing that same closure and need to others. And I think that that's pretty freaking awesome. No matter how you look at it, that's manifestation at the ultimate point. And I think you're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but just wanted to make sure I fit that hello in there and kind of pointed out that little piece in it. When it comes to a lot of people in the witch community, pagan community, heathen community, witches, warlocks, wizards, the whole nine yard, Wiccan, not Wiccan, whatever your case may be. A lot of us usually find that path by either feeling the connection or B, feeling shunned by the plastic humanity that can be often found around us. And we either choose to make that into something that helps us or hurts us. But that's my 10 cents.
Yeah, we can't be all dark in desperation. I'm just kidding. I'm playing. I do think you gotta have both, and I love it. So she, before she knew what anything was, as a little girl, she would gather these stones and flowers and make these altars, right? And she would do incantations. She would look to the sky and say stuff like, "Blow and blow, make my feet and fingers glow." And then she would hear the giant eucalyptus trees. The leaves would rustle, and she could smell the scent of the leaves, and she was convinced that they knew her and were answering her. She said she was a little pagan before she knew what that word meant. I think that's true for a lot of us, right? We or for me anyway, I don't speak for anyone else, but it's like when you come to the spiritual awakening. I grew up Southern Baptist, so it was all about guilt and what was wrong and not accepted, and certainly being gay wasn't accepted or understood. And then when actually Salon, the years that we were dating, told me about different experiences he had growing up, and about Wicca or paganism. When you finally come to it, it's like, well, good God, I feel like I've known this stuff my whole life. I just didn't know what it was. And my goodness gracious, like you look around and I can't believe in the past 2 years all this stuff and information that's available. Stuff that people thought, they had buried or hidden or gotten rid of. And there's just so many people, which is wonderful, that have carried on the traditions and the stories and the information. We don't have a Bible, but we keep the information is kept alive, and I just think it's great. So back to Fiona. So she was a little girl. I know I talk a lot. I'm from Texas. When she grew and went through, excuse me, I can see you on the screen. All right.
I'm aware.
When she was a teen, early teen, and to early adulthood, she was growing and experienced witchcraft as a means to an end. So Fiona's not a Wiccan. She doesn't hold the religious aspect of it, but she is a witch. She used witchcraft as a way to get what she thought she needed, what she wanted. She sought identity in its mystical, exotic, and rebellious connotations. She did work in the public eye in the entertainment industry. She was on TV, radio. She was an author, and that meant that she was pretty open. She became very identified with witchcraft and magic, and all of a sudden she was popular. Um, she was a popular, and people associated her with the evil witch and scary magic. But this lady, I wish I could figure out how to put a picture up. She's blonde. She's like a Barbie. She's blonde, friendly, approachable, and she had an Australian accent, which went over well in the U.S. where she moved. Um, Now, she was a commercial pilot, and rather than casting spells to get what she wants or writing books about how to do that, uh, her personal practice has evolved to be one of service. And one thing she said in an interview, I watched a couple of interviews with her from the Guy Network, like Salon said. Are you squinting at me? Oh.
I am. One thing I learned from the interview.
From
I'm
the
just kidding.
interview,
Okay.
she said, she's gone from using magic to manifest things that she wants or thought that she needed to be of service. What's better for people? What's better for the environment? What's better for the earth? And she says something that stuck with me. She said, I'm older, but we're not getting older, we're getting better. And I really like that. That resonated, that stuck with me. And
Okay.
what she also said in that interview, or what's changed, is that she's learned that the secret to making spells and rituals work 100% of the time is to make them useful in the world, in service for a greater good than your ego or needs. When you do that, the universe conspires in your favor and will grant your wish every time if your magical goal is truly selfish. Do I believe that 100%? No, I still think that one of the great things about being a witch, being a pagan, whatever you believe, as the ability to, or the belief that through hard work, you can't just pray, no offense to Christians, I grew up Baptist, I don't mean any offense, but instead of just praying, oh God, please, but you pray through spells and work, herbs, or whatever you choose to empower your spells, stones, crystals, and then you do the work. You do the work, and that's how you get you have success. Right?
Yeah, don't pass it off to an entity to do the work for you, because that's not how that works. Yep.
Right.
So I think you should repeat all of that in Australian accent.
I can't quite do Australian, but I can do British a little bit. I'm from South Leeds. No, I can't do an Australian
That
accent.
actually did sound a little more Australian than British.
No, I think an Australian accent is so nice. On women.
Really?
And guys too. It's nice.
Are you afraid I'll get jealous?
No, you don't get jealous.
Yeah, I know, it makes mad, doesn't it?
No. Well, sometimes. So and this is still
See? That's what I'm saying. That was good. I agree with Sylvie. I think that came out pretty well.
From, it's just really neat to see all the things this lady has done, from being a rock star to an author, in a few movies, TV shows, and then having things, probably something that was so important to you, more important than book deals or records or money. Your husband or your partner leaves you, and then being at rock bottom, she still says she doesn't have a house. She flies and she's happy to stay wherever. But she had to really reset and work to pay for her pilot's license. And that's crazy. This lady's a pilot right now. I just think that's amazing. She goes on in the interview to talk about personal space and altars. And unlike before, when she would have an altar that's very precise and everything's arranged by the book with the 4 elements of air, earth, fire, and water organized with corresponding directions, etc., etc. On her altar now, she'll have natural items assembled that reflect her life's journey. Recently, she added a birch tree sap that she took from a tree, scraped from a tree on a recent visit to the Alaskan wilderness. And it's healing, smells incredible. and reminds her that her soul will always be found in nature. The interviewer asked her, "What do you consider the most successful moment in your magical career?" And she answered, "The day it stopped being my career." So, this is a person I think that was so necessary to be in that spotlight to show a positive light on the magical and pagan community. But then everything has a time. So she did that, and now it's time to step away. And that's why she said the day it stopped being her career was the most magical moment. Uh, Identifying as being a witch, she says, was always about her soul, nature, and blessing. It is to be a part of this living world for the flicker of time that she's here. So that is pretty much what I had about Fiona. I just think she's amazing. Yeah, she's love and light, but she's pretty badass on a couple parts too. And I don't know how she's done all that she's done. And I think especially to bring a positive image to the magical community for the mainstream was just amazing.
Yes, thank you very much for the follow, Fineapple270. I think I know who you are. I've seen you in a couple other chats. But thank you for joining the group. We're just getting things back rolling.
Cheers.
We've started with our, yes, cheers. Look, you can't cheers and then just drink. You're supposed to cheers.
Oh, let's touch. Can I touch yours?
No, you cannot. Anywho, so Pineapple, just FYI, what we're kind of doing here is we're doing the whole witch history thing. We started, actually just finished kind of with going over Fiona Apple. Fiona Apple, dear God, that is a blast.
Please do not insult Fiona Horn.
Insult? Fiona
Well,
Apple's
I'm
pretty
just
awesome.
saying, well, Fiona Apple might be magical. She seemed kind of witchy.
She does. Fiona Horn.
What did you call me?
Hush. And so we're going to try to do, depending on timing, how we're going to kind of balance things out as far as doing a, weekly or bi-weekly. We're thinking weekly, kind of differentiating between some modern and some historical witches and or witchy things and pagan things. Drunk Witchstory, just because I like drunk history. That's one of my favorite shows because I'm a complete and utter nerd. Something like that. Just to keep it going, we want to kind of learn a little bit. And I think for me, I have had a constant thing in my life where I really stayed sheltered for the most part. And it's a weird kind of sheltering. Like I would learn something, and if I liked it, I absorbed it. If I didn't, I didn't. Right? And I mean, I guess that's kind of okay. But I've learned in the last, I would say, 5 years or so that it's so much more important sometimes to absorb the things that you may not necessarily agree with in order to understand them and work them. Blah, 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 love and light, haha. Point is, we want to do this every Friday. Our goal is going to be 11 o'clock probably, trying to do it at a later time just to get things rolling, at least Eastern Standard anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of the goal here. We just finished talking about Fiona Horn, who is one of our modern traditional witches that we wanted to talk about. And we actually would like to invite other people who either self-identify as pagan witch, otherwise have beliefs that may not be like ours or like anybody else's, to join us on the stream and talk about the things that they enjoy or that they believe in or think about in a non-threatening way so that we can learn stuff. I'm going to completely ignore that comment only because I am extremely, what's the word? It's a lie. I'm not modest at all. I was going to make something up. That's rude. I was going to lie.
I didn't say that.
I don't care what you said. But thank you for the compliment. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah. So we wanted to kind of start out with this history kind of thing and having those conversations and talk about a little history. See if anybody actually enjoys doing that. And then we kind of want to move into perhaps using tarot or doing readings, which I've done tarot on stream before, not much. I've really always focused on games, and then I took about a year hiatus, and then completely switched everything around. So, regardless, I know this is completely backwards. We have the Magic of You Oracle. This is an Oracle deck that was specifically created by Fiona Horn. I want to call her Fiona Apple again because she looks like Fiona Apple in the back of the book. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And please don't be jealous. It's not adorable. You should see us offline. He gets on my everlast nerve.
All day. Mean as a snake, that one.
Okay, you kind of took it to the next level. Let's just say it's really good that I'm gone Monday through Thursday. Because if I was home, at least the house would be clean.
Oh. Wow.
Excuse me. I don't know what we were watching a friend of ours do a Facebook Live, and she said "son of a whore," and I don't know why it just made me laugh so hard. I thought I've never heard that before. I'm gonna have to use it. Son of a whore. But anyway.
Well, she was mean to me.
Fine Apple was asking, was it the beard that drew you to me? I will tell you, I have always had some form of the beard. But I'll tell you what it actually was that drew him to me. His ass tried to ditch me after our first date, and I stalked his ass and told him he's going to make it up to me.
Have you all been in a relationship and, you meet somebody, so you try to do the right thing, you say, no, I can't. I really like this person, but I'm with somebody, I gotta try to make it work. And I can't see any of the typing and talking, but I'm just saying, you try to make it work. That's what happened. So I tried to resolve or end a relationship before, and I met him.
And you didn't resolve it, did you?
And I missed him for 3 months before we reconnected, but I had to do the right thing, and we ended up together, so that's good.
Yeah, so I did date like 3 other people in that time frame, but whatever. Rook, can you? I turned your volume up in my Streamlabs just a little bit because some people might. Actually, I probably need to talk a little softer.
This is good long burning incense.
So could you go into your Discord and turn your input volume up just a hair? Let's see if that helps.
My left or your left?
Your left. Well, this is the thing.
Look, I'm in settings at the bottom. I don't see the video and voice thing. Look, y'all. Here, tell me where to go. I'm in settings, Discord, user settings, but there's no, voice and video. Here it goes. Now you said turn input volume up.
Just a little bit.
Excuse me. How much? I'm at 78%. 82.
Good. Go to 90.
87. 92. Ooh, too much. Hold on. 89.
Alright.
Told you I don't know the wordage.
Alright, so I'm making a couple of adjustments. I need you to talk a little bit quieter. Move your mic a little closer to your mouth.
Hi, thank you. It's October 30th, 2020 of the crazy fucking year. I'm tired of goddamn COVID.
Alright. So, let me know if there's any echo. I do hear a little bit myself too, so hopefully that'll clear up once I get these adjusted. But make sure, let me know if there's, I don't know what the hell he said. I ignored it. That's what I do 90% of the day.
I said I'm tired of fucking COVID.
I heard you. I don't know how to make myself louder. I don't have the...
Oh, I'll turn your output.
Oh my god! That was way too loud.
You're scaring me.
You screamed in my ear. Don't say anything for 1 second. Let me get to my Discord and drop you a little bit. Good God, I can barely hear. So we've got, what we're doing is, what we have to do is we have to balance out desktop audio with Discord audio, and right now it kind of goes back and forth. So hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. And hopefully, Rook is kind of balanced now as well. So I hope that's better. But
What?
don't get me started. I am gone a good usually Monday through Thursday every week, and let me tell you that is the secret to being together for 13 years. We're about ready for the second 7-year itch, and let me tell you, I'd like to scratch that scab and throw it away.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
My God, stressful.
Well,
My secret is I don't argue. So I've learned what's important, what's not. You gotta learn when you take a stand and walk away.
That's
Most of
hilarious.
the time,
You've learned.
walk away.
You just.
Walk away. It's not worth an argument. He likes to argue, god dang it. It's not worth it. Why cause yourself stress? Don't even argue. I'm not saying ignore, but acknowledge and then go do something else for 30 minutes.
A, I don't argue. I just don't like it when people around me are wrong. B, I don't even know which one it is. Which one did you open, the red? Was it the Chianti or the...
Nope. Cabernet. From Livermore Valley.
Right. Yeah, well, that was the point. It's a drunk Witchstory. We just did the history before we got drunk.
Which is
Dry.
probably good.
But I don't know if you guys have ever seen or heard of Drunk History. It's a History Channel thing here. And it's really fun. They drink and they walk through history. And I'm telling you, even if you don't like history, the show's fucking amazing. You would really enjoy it. And I learn something every time I watch it. So it's kind of nice. But yes, this is a pretty dry wine. I am obsessive with dry red wines. I am a huge Cabernet fan, Shiraz, Chianti, depending on where it's from. I do not do sweet wines. I don't do grapey wines. I like the shit to be like eating the bark of a tree. Just my opinion. But I think one of the other things that'll happen as we go through and do these different histories, the modern witches are actually, I think, a little bit easier because, still alive. Pretty much all of them have gotten into some sort of writing a book or whatever, yada yada it is, right? And then that stuff is easy to find out about, but then you go down and some history, and it's a little bit harder. So hopefully next week is my turn to do some of the research, and I am actually going to...
Who are you doing?
I think I am doing... Hold on, let me look. I have my notes here. I think I was doing Aussie Young, which is the very first person. I don't think she was an actual witch, though, so we gotta look at the history, gotta do some research. But she is the first person in America, that is the North American continent, that was executed for witchcraft. So I really want to do that, just because it's very interesting. And two, I learned that there was only one person on the North American continent that was ever hung for being a witch, or burned for being a witch. Everybody else was drowned, which really doesn't make it much better, right?
Probably in Virginia.
Yeah. Explicit, I actually am not sure. We planned on doing the history and then maybe doing some readings afterwards, which will be coming up pretty soon. The thing is, we kind of wanted to use Fiona Horn's Oracle deck. The problem is, I'm not familiar with it. Although I could probably read it, I just really don't have any connection to it. So what I was thinking that we might do is just talk a little bit about the deck, because it is relation to the witch that we're doing history on this week. And then I might do some readings using one of my two Halloween decks, which is either, I know it's backwards, but either the Haunted House or the Ghosts and Spirits. Both decks which I have worked with a little bit, not much, but enough to read off of.
Haunted House.
Yeah, it's one of the two. But anyway, probably give the see the I don't know though, the Ghost Spirit Tarot is really pretty. It's not my normal deck though, but I'm definitely willing to do a couple of readings. Um, and I really shouldn't say willing either, because it's really sometimes when I do readings, you probably, well, both of you probably know this because you've seen me do one. They get a little frenzied sometimes, and it takes a lot of energy out of me. Um,
You want to know what deck Fiona uses?
yeah, what deck does Fiona use?
Since
Since
she
she
was
was
in
in
her
her
20s,
20s,
she's
she's
been
been
using
using
primarily
primarily
a
a
deck
deck
that
that
was
was
gifted
gifted
to
to
her
her
called
called
the
the
Celtic
Celtic
Tarot
Tarot
deck.
deck.
Hmm.
Um,
Courtney
Courtney
Davis and
Davis and
Helena
Helena
Patterson.
Patterson.
I
I
would
would
have
have
to
to
look
look
that
that
up.
up.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that's
that's
one
one
you
you
have,
have,
and
and
you
you
have
have
a
a
whole
whole
bunch.
bunch.
Um,
Um,
she
she
says
says
she's
she's
been
been
using the
using the
Celtic
Celtic
Tarot
Tarot
deck,
deck,
and
and
any
any
advice that
advice that
she
she
would
would
give
give
to
to
a
a
reader
reader
is
is
that
that
the
the
guidance
guidance
doesn't
doesn't
come
come
from
from
you,
you,
but
but
through
through
you.
you.
Get
Get
yourself
yourself
out of
out
the
of the
way.
way.
Trust
Trust
that
that
the
the
first
first
thing
thing
that
that
comes
comes
to
to
you
you
is
is
the
the
unpolluted
unpolluted
guidance
guidance
and
and
endeavor
endeavor
to
to
be
be
of
of
service.
service.
I am
I am
just
just
starting
starting
tarot.
tarot.
I'm
I'm
trying to
trying
get
to
the
get the
hang
hang
of
of
this
this
stuff.
stuff.
Um,
Um,
so
so
I'm
I'm
not
not
one
one
to
to
be
be
doing a
doing
lot
a
of
lot of
readings,
readings,
but
but
she
she
prays to
prays
the
to the
God or
god or
goddess
goddess
and
and
goddess
goddess
of
of
her
her
understanding
understanding
before
before
every
every
reading.
reading.
Every
Every
reading,
reading,
God and
God and
goddess
goddess
allow
allow
me
me
to
to
be
be
of
of
service to
service
this
to this
person
person
and
and
share
share
with
with
them
them
information
information
that
that
will
will
heal
heal
and
and
help
help
them.
them.
So
So
I
I
will
will
have
have
to
to
look
look
up
up
the
the
Celtic
Celtic
Tarot
Tarot
deck.
deck.
You actually do really good with tarot readings, so I wouldn't say that you wouldn't be able to do one. Um,
But
But
people
people
ask me
ask me
to
to
do
do
them.
them.
That's
That's
why
why
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
so
so
please,
please,
no,
no,
you
you
need
need
salon
salon
to
to
do
do
it.
it.
nah, but yes, I will tell you when I do readings too many back to back, I do get a headache. I usually just feel really tired, but it's kind of the
Oh
Oh
shit.
shit.
yeah. I don't know what to do about the echo because if I take the echo off, then he gets too quiet. Um, I think he's coming through my auxiliary and my desktop audio, which is a problem, but I don't know how to correct it at this point. Unless it's just from him being in the room with me and he talks really,
Oh.
really loud compared to me. Um, and he will not get his mic properly situated ever. Um,
Joy
Wants
wants
us
us
to
to
go
go
to
to
the
the
Solomon
Solomon
ritual
ritual
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
where at?
Well,
Well,
the
with
mask
mask
at
at
the
the
UU.
UU.
I'll think about it. But yeah, I honestly I do get um, the not always a headache, but um, and you know the other thing explicit. I wish I could think about. It. I know when we do Discord without the video, it's easy for me to adjust it because I can separately adjust the audio and just turn the desktop audio off. But I don't know. I think what's happening is he's coming through desktop audio and Discord audio. So right now I have desktop audio turned off. Let's see how he sounds over the next few minutes and see if that fixes it. If it doesn't, then it's definitely room issues. And we do have some partitions we wanted to set up and kind of move those around. But unfortunately, it kind of killed the whole candles and all that stuff. So, um, so yeah, we'll have to figure out. See, even then, I'm hearing echo myself. So that was because he turned around.
What do I need to do?
Keep your mic close to your mouth and not scream into it. That's what you need to do.
Talk like this. Is this better? October 30th, 2020.
I will mute you.
No, I'm asking. I moved it closer. Fuck yeah, bro. It is October 30th, 2020.
Okay.
The year of our goddess.
Yeah, I don't know why it is so loud. I've got you, yes, I've got you minus 50.
Is that better?
So let's see. Basically, one of two things happens. Either you can't hear me and there is an echo, or you can't hear him and there is no echo. So that seems to be where I'm kind of going back and forth here. Why am I so dark? There we go.
Put it there purposefully, I think.
No, I didn't. Not that dark. And see, now all of a sudden I'm hearing myself back through the speakers, which I have not heard at all tonight until just now. I'm gonna have to put you in another room.
What? I don't mean.
Yeah, I don't like that though. I don't like that there's this. I've never had an issue when I do just regular sound. It's only when I do the video stuff. Let's see. Headphones, HyperX, Cloud. So Discord is properly set. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, that will absolutely help. In the past, when I use Discord, I don't have to use the desktop audio settings at all. Just the mic aux settings and my headphones set properly work without an issue. But for some reason, when I use the desktop, like right now I've got desktop and mic aux both open. So we'll see how that goes for a minute, but I think that's where we're getting a little bit of echo because it's coming through both audio inputs in the mixer. But anywho, there is one thing I did want to share about Fiona Horn that I thought was interesting, just to kind of add to it. There was an interview that somebody did with her. I can't remember the person's name, but it was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And one of the things that they did, they interviewed a lot of people. It was like their thing. They interviewed everybody from witches to mass murderers. So that was kind of what their thing is. And they tended to ask people the same question. One of those questions is, what do you want to be at age 12, 18, and 30? I don't know why I picked those particular ages, but I guess it makes sense. So they asked her, see, I'm hearing reverb now.
I don't hear it.
I do. I don't know why it's doing that, completely random. Now it's not. Anyway, so there was 3 things that they asked her about these at age 12, 18, again, and at 30. So what did you want to be at 12? She said an astronaut. At 18, she wanted to be a rock star. And at 30, she wanted to be happy. But what was interesting, she mentioned that at 30, she was a rock star, which was her, goal at age 18, and an author and a TV personality, all of which she was doing, but she wasn't happy. And she had mentioned that it took her another 20 years to figure out what happiness was. And happiness was manifesting magic that is able to be manifested that benefited both her and the universe, which I know we talked about a little bit earlier. Thought that was pretty cool, though, that she kind of went to that extreme, to that process of saying, she found happiness when she was able to use her gift and her manifestation and her witchiness in a way that allowed her to do humanitarian efforts and do all these other things, So I thought that was pretty cool. But anywho, we'll probably keep talking here for a minute, but I will do a couple of really short tarot readings, I guess. So let's see if we can get this to actually work.
Tell me if you need me to get any decks.
Nope, I'm just going to use the one. Let's see. Yeah, well, I mean, it's technically, well, not yet. Yep, it is technically Samhain. So we'll do a quick cue and see if it actually worked. And it doesn't give you feedback. I don't know how to get that part to work. Never have. But we now have a 3-person queue, so we're going to do some reading. I will add that. Yeah, no kidding. Um, I don't know how half things work sometimes. I set most of these items up 4 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, because I mean we hadn't moved into this house when we originally did all that. So surprisingly, it still works. But anyway, we'll do a couple of readings. I don't have my tarot set up on this particular Streamlabs setup. See, it's starting to reverberate in my ear with everything. That's not helping. Everything I say, I'm hearing back through your mic.
I wonder if it's psychodramatic because you say that on a cell phone too.
Okay.
Is it you?
I might have to mute you. I mean, it is weird that for some random reason, all of a sudden, it's picking me back up on your mic and coming back through the phone.
You want me to mute my mic?
Nah. We're gonna have to figure out how to make it work for the most part. I don't care if it does it once in a while. But yeah. Oh, all right, yep. All right, just listening, watching and learning. I appreciate that. Don't know how much you'll learn from me, but I will certainly give you what I got. What are you, Janet? What?
Your mom.
Thanks for putting her name on stream. Rook does do tarot.
What is your last name?
All right, so it looks like we have explicit cupcake. Rook, see, nobody wants to see any of mine, but that's okay. Rook, show your tattoos.
Oh, I can.
I'm just kidding, by the way. I'm kidding. Absolutely kidding.
I will show them. You have 4 ones.
Oh, well, no, I don't.
Yeah. So this is my light arm, and this is the light, the scary arm or whatever. So I have my Ganesha, and my, well, you can't see it. I have a centimorph up here. My Wiccan tattoo, which is a crow and a skull with the tentacles in his eye. Hibiscus. Oh, I don't know. Oh, and then my totem, which is Palaka, my name in Hawaiian. And then this is, what a mercy. Oh, Saint Pete of Lost Causes. And when things get bad, you know what you gotta do? I don't know if you can see it, but you gotta keep fucking going. So this is my spiritual arm, and this is my scary arm, actually with a clown. Oh, here's the camera. And then a scary carnival.
Sorry, I was trying not to laugh.
Are you laughing at me?
Go ahead.
Shit. But seriously, oh, and I have a Dead by Daylight tattoo of Dwight right here, which I love. I love that game. If anybody plays Dead by Daylight, please, if you need a player, reach out to me, Rick Tempest. And then this is a totem. Oh, I can never get this right. On Dead by Daylight. Creepy twin sister, she's eating her twin sister's head. And then my niece made me a couple drawings that I got tattooed. I can't turn it around, but I have the eye of Horus. You can kind of see it. So she made me a creepy eye right here. And then a mushroom lady. I have to take better pictures. He's gangster. He got this whole big thing on his chest and like 2 sittings. It's crazy and insane. I couldn't do it. And a whole big thing on his back.
Y'all, watch this.
Bitch, I know you're asking me for more drinks. Okay. This is how you stay married for 13
If you
years.
pour that on me, I swear to God, I'm gonna kick you. Oh my God, you just dripped it all over me. But thank you.
Well, you can't be perfect.
Ah, well, I'm pretty close. Yeah, oh God, you'd be surprised.
He's from Vagina and I'm from Texas.
Anyway, see if I can get a little bit of light here.
It's awful hot in here.
Oh my God, that's bright. It is hot in here. I can turn the air on, but it might be really loud. Let's try it for a second.
Well, don't mess with it.
If it's too loud, I'm gonna turn it right back off. But I can't.
Anybody from Texas? I don't have not one motherfucker watching me. Ask
You
your
will.
people. Anybody else from Texas?
Anybody from Texas? Yep, nope, nobody wants to be from Texas. So I can't show all of mine, but you can see kind of the start. This is the green man. It's the air conditioner. It's really hot in here, so we're turning it on just for a few minutes. It'll cool off really fast. Is it really loud? But yeah, green man eyes. I don't think that gets me in trouble on Twitch. I don't know. So we'll turn it off after like 2 minutes. I promise. I'll try to be. Hopefully you can still hear me. This is supposed to be a version of The Last Man on Earth. It's hard to see in this lighting, but this is a glass backpack with a tree in it, guy wearing a gas mask, and that's connected to it. It's the last tree, last man standing. Yeah. And then over here, most people will probably recognize my elbow. Hopefully you can still hear me. Hold on, let me just fix that, because we can turn that off after just a minute. It gets really hot here. Anyway, so that's the Umbrella Corp, if anybody's interested. Anybody know Umbrella Corp, right? If you do know Umbrella Corp, then you will also recognize the T-Virus Antidote and a couple of the other T-Viruses, and I forgot what the other one's called already. Viruses there. You've got Mega Man. He's kind of sideways. Yeah, I'm a Resident Evil fan. All of them, even the dumb ones. But I got Mega Man, my buddy. And then you got two of the shields. You got the Hylian shield, and then the top one here. This is obviously the Triforce. We've got it made into a candle. I know, Mega Man. Mega Man's the shit. I'm sorry. And then my favorite. It's hard to explain because a lot of people don't know it, but Dreamcast, and I'll go through each of these real quick. I can't get it to where you can see it in the right angle, but this is a Dreamcast game called Grandia 2. Very meaningful to me. It was in a part of my life that I played where I really was not happy. And each of these people represent a different aspect of a human being. So we've got Merrick, who is one of the characters. Merrick represented the beast strength of a human being, but also kindness and clan, love for clan. And then there is, right here, the guy is Ryudo. He's the main person that basically is walks through the lands and whatever. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna punch him in his nose later. God, what is that? I don't even know what you call it anymore. But anyway, he's the main character of the RPG, and he represents somebody who is capable but doesn't understand that he's capable until he meets all of these people who represent him in the end. Millennia, who is a representation of unbridled heathenry. And then This is Alina. Alina is the songstress who is obsessed with the, what do you call it? Pope. And then she ends up learning that the Pope is a fraud and ends up being the big bad that you have to kill in the game. This is, God, what's his name? Roan. So Roan is the little kid who's actually a king emperor who has a family history that is terrible, like 10 times worse than the Nazis. But he learns that they can outlive that and make life good again anyway. And then back here is Tia, who is a robot who learns to love. So that's the arm. And I have a couple more. I have Ellen of the Ways on my back, who is a deer-headed woman playing a Lear. She is the master of the crossroads.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's really awesome.
And I have when I first got into nursing, my LPN license for my LPN on my left leg, which the caduceus is made out of a syringe and gargoyle wings, and then I have a DNA strand 3D wrapped around my right leg. And that's where I'm at right now. We're scheduled to go back in 3 weeks. 4 weeks.
November 21st.
So yeah. And Rook and I do not compete tattoos against each other. Mainly because our style is completely different, but I will tell you, everything that you just saw on both of our arms, one artist. Same guy. He's freaking awesome. So anywho, I will talk about tattoos any day. So let's go ahead and move forward. We will get Explicit Cupcake first. Explicit, do you have a question or do you want a general read? Alrighty. So let me get a couple of more. Right now, I am using the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot. I know it's going to be backwards by Lisa Hunt. Oh, good. It's backwards. Backwards on Discord. Great tarot deck. I don't use it all that often, but it does, like every deck. I do believe, it's great to connect to a deck. It's great to work with a deck, but if you've read one, you can pretty much read them all. Of course, after 25 years, you usually can just read whatever, clouds, grass, tea leaves, whole nine. Yeah. So we're going to do a general read for Explicit Cupcake.
I like that.
So I'll probably keep these relatively short, and I don't have my my setup for a tarot stream available on this grouping of things. So unfortunately, I just have to show you the cards one at a time as I pull them up. So let's see what we have for Explicit Cupcake. I think at the end, Rook, if you unless somebody objects, once I'm done, if you want to pull a Fiona Horn card for homework, that would be good. So. Okay. Alright, Explicit. So what I'm going to do, since I can't let you see what's on my table here, I'm going to kind of explain how I do a general reading. I do a general reading, it's a 6-card draw. There is no such thing for me on this reading as a past, present, future. It's just intuitive. I go through it and I speak through it as I go. The first card, though, that shows... Oh, let me go over my... Where's my thing here? The This is Temperance. So this is a full tarot deck, not an oracle, and Temperance generally leads me to believe, if we're looking at this, I do a pyramid draw, so right? So it's things that build upon each other that you need to put in place, and it's usually in a linear order. So for Temperance, Temperance is telling you that there is a balance that needs to be made, but it's not about balancing like a scale. This is balancing that is an active action that you have to do in order to create a balance. So you temper the iron of a sword, right? It starts as one thing and you hammer it out, not to balance it and make it even on a scale, but to temper it into something better or into something useful. So whatever it is that you're thinking about right now, general in your life, you need to look at it as a way of, as a thought process of doing action to get a balance out of that action. So either you're working on a project or something that you are thinking about that needs to have your skillful attention in manifesting or moving towards whatever goal you're moving on. So this isn't something that you buy to achieve a goal. It's not something that you need to obtain to achieve a goal. It's not something that you need to seek out. It's something that you have that you need to work on specifically, that you can add in your experiences, your thoughts, your processes, your ideas, your physical work that's going to bring about a better end from whatever that situation is working on. So then the next two cards will go together. So these next two cards, we have, oh my god, it's starting here, the High Priestess and the Ten of Pentacles, okay? Hopefully you can see those. I'll leave them up for just a second. So I'll tell you a little bit about the High Priestess, and I don't really read traditionally. It's not necessarily traditional reading, but the High Priestess generally is talking about whatever that energy is that you need to do. You cannot take a shortcut. So if you are thinking about taking a shortcut when making whatever it is you need to temper, remember from that first card, it's not going to work. You need to put in the energy, you need to follow the experience in the process in order to get the full benefit of whatever it is you're working on. There are no shortcuts with the High Priestess. She's a lot like the Magician in that you need to go ahead and work and manifest whatever it is you're doing, but she's also saying that you can't take the shortcut, you can't hide around things, you can't cut around the outside of something. So if you are needing to get to the other side of the lake, you need to find a way to cross the lake, not to go around it, because if you do that, you're going to miss out on whatever it is you're working on. And the Ten of Pentacles is actually one of my favorite cards that really speaks to how we look at things from a perspective of our experience, right? So I'm going to go back a little bit to Temperance. We're working on our active thing. We're making it manifest. We're working to make it happen. We're not going to take shortcuts. We're going to look back on it and we're going to say, you know what, it was worth the energy. I might have expected something more. It's not as pretty as I wanted it to be. But if I would have done it any different way, then it wouldn't have been worth it. We get to our last three cards, which kind of tell us about, what our finished product is, or what our end result is going to be. And you have the Seven of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles. It's very interesting to me because these are, in general traditional reads, things that are kind of negative, I would say. Ooh, you just lit a new incense. What is that? It smells good.
It is lit.
So the first card, Seven of Swords. So give you a minute to look at that. It's a little rough. Looks a little rough. But we'll get to that. It'll make sense in a minute. We got the Five of Cups. We got the Six of Pentacles. So one of the things that you'll notice about some of the cards, I don't know if you're into numerology or not, but when you look at numbers, a lot of times the even numbers are considered the good numbers, or the bad numbers, I'm sorry. They're the bad numbers. They can't be split evenly. If you take a odd card, there's an extra of something somewhere, right? So when you look at the Seven of Swords, generally what you're thinking of is pretty negative. The thing that's different about how I read is that we're not looking at like a past, present, future, or a situation, action, outcome. What we're looking at is a whole thing. So the Seven of Swords is telling you that whatever it is that you're doing, it's going to take a lot more work than you think it is. You're not going to get the result that you want unless you really pay attention to what you're doing and take your time. Seven of Swords also tells me that whatever it is you're working on, whatever it is you're thinking about, if you want it to happen tomorrow, let's say your question is, am I going to get a promotion in the next 6 weeks? No, you're not. It's going to take a lot longer than you think. The Five of Cups is really reminding you to take a look at the things that are inside of whatever system or whatever, what's the word, not system. I don't want to say family either, but it's whatever general process you use to deal with things on an emotional basis. You've got to pay attention to those as it relates to the rest of the cards. And I guess what that means is, in a general sense, your emotional energy or your thoughtful energy is probably pretty balanced for the most part. The difference here is that it's not what's normally a part of that issue or that system or that process, I guess. So whenever I see the Five of Cups, it's telling me that if you're looking at a progression, you've gone from a foundation in the fours to a action in the sixes and sevens. The five is kind of like a hold up, let's plan, right? So emotionally, if you don't plan for whatever it is that you're doing, it's gonna kind of be a little messy. And then the Six of Pentacles, this to me is actually a very nice card. It's pretty. I know I showed it before, but the Six of Pentacles really is about balance. It's about balancing the physical things and the things that go through your body and the things that you are physically able to tangibly touch and tangibly work with. So what I want to do is I want to back up just a second. So we're going to run through this really fast. Okay? So this is kind of like your little recap. So the Ten of Pentacles is telling you you're going to look back. You're going to be proud of what you worked on. Temperance was actually first. So Temperance is telling you the ultimate key to everything that is going on is that you take an active participation in balancing out your situation. You are not going to measure things out side by side, but you're going to need to use skill to get to the end result. My best example is if the process or the system says use 5 ounces, then use 5 freaking ounces. Not 5.1, not 4.9, use 5. Temperance is saying you actively use your processes to balance what you're doing. And then your 10 of Pentacles and your High Priestess, both of them are telling me don't take any shortcuts. You will be happy with the result that you get. It's going to take longer than you think. The system is broken. So in order to fix it, you're going to have to pay attention to how you emotionally process whatever it is you're working on. But ultimately, Six of Pentacles is telling me you're going to be pretty good. You're going to have whatever it is that you're looking at or whatever you're doing. It's going to be pretty good. So this is a reading to me of hard work and processing. It's a reading, a general reading that says for you to get to the next point of things that you want to do or the next stage of whatever it is you're working on, you're going to have to take an active role in it. It's not going to be a passive role, and you're going to have to really pay attention to how you emotionally process whatever it is you're working on. I hope that helps you out a little bit. I would, if you, it's completely up to you. If you would like to get a homework card from the Fiona Horn Oracle deck, her deck is very positive, and it's very nice because it gives us an instance on how we can do things in a lighter meaning. So if you would like to have that card drawn, just let me know, and we'll ask Rook to pull a Fiona Horn card.
I'll pull it.
I'll let you know, and then you can pull it. You don't have to give it to me. Go for it, Rook. So for me, I like to pull homework cards quite often because when you get a reading, it really does help to me kind of organize some of your thoughts and put your things together. And then a homework card is a good pull that just says, all right, let's do this. Let's focus on this piece of it. And this is, you know, kind of what they want you to see moving forward. Rook, if you want to read it, good. If you don't, if you would rather me read it, just let me know. Sorry for the background noise. We had to cool it down here. It's getting really warm. But it should turn off in a second.
You cut it off.
It did. It's still hot in here, but it's loud.
You cut it off. Wow. I didn't realize Alright, you don't know what you got to say. I'll show it. You want to read it since you did the other one? Wow, that's really
Shiny. Bend, just bend it at an angle. Bend it at an angle and clean it back. There you go. All right. So, you want me to read it? That's fine. So,
Yeah.
detox. What I see in that card is actually going to be pretty straightforward. I think anybody can read it, and that is one of the good things about the Fiona Horn deck. You know, it really gives things in a very direct manner. It's called the Magic of You Oracle, if anybody's interested. But I don't obviously work for her. Just really like the deck. So, and this actually kind of really goes with the rest of the reading, right? So, with all of the things that are going where you have to temper and you have to manage things, what's one thing that you have to look at when you're tempering a sword, right? Is purity. Something that is actually too pure, it's actually weaker than some of the alloys, right? So when you make an alloy of steel or an alloy using iron and other things, you're tempering something new that is much more useful and beneficial than what it was either before it was tempered or before it was even mixed. So when you detox, one of the things that we think of, looks like you're frozen, Rook, just FYI.
Does detox cleanse and restore?
You're frozen and I can't hear you, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, there it goes. So detox, yeah, you're back. So detox to me would mean not necessarily removing all of the things that may be harmful to you, but more about really releasing the things that hold you back. So what I would do as a homework card if I saw detox is maybe over the next 7 to 14 days, I might think about when I meditate, I might think, what are the things that are in my life that are no longer going to help me temper the next level or the next step that I do? What are the things that I am adding to my world that is not making it better? What part of my system needs to be cut out? What part of, you know, you have a block of cheese, this is going to disgust somebody. I like cheese, right? So if you have a block, if you have a 1 pound block of cheese, and one little end of it has a little piece of mold on it, you can cut that little end piece off and the rest of the cheese is still good. So that's what detox is to me. It's looking at the things that are in your life that you can move around, adjust, take, pull off, and still continue to work on tempering the sword of whatever it is you're working on and moving forward. So that would be my message for detox. It is a pretty card too.
Yeah, I hope you can see it at all. It's a
Yeah.
pretty card.
So, thank you. You know, I thought it was
Chocolate.
yes, chocolate.
I love chocolate.
I think it was extremely neat to kind of watch some of those old shows about how they would take those huge freaking cocoa beans and actually, you know, cook them and move them around and shave them or whatever they do to them
I like Lucy.
to make them into chocolate. It's pretty cool. But
You
thank
like
you.
Lucy?
So,
Lucy's eating chocolate.
next up in the queue, we have Pineapple. Pineapple 270. So let me get some shuffle up in here. So Pineapple, if you're still around, sorry we're going kind of slow. I know that. I just am going to blame that on the line. That's my. Not yet. I'm good. I could use another cinnamon toast crunch though. But
Alright. I can do that.
only if you want to make it. I mean, only if you want one.
Well, I'll make you one. Hold on. Let me get my system.
I'm gonna wait till he leaves to talk about it. Huh?
Oh, that's okay. I'll see.
Pineapple, do you want a general read or do you have a specific question? Yeah. But I want to see it. Thank you.
Hey, babies.
Alrighty. Go ahead and ask your question. And by the way, Rook does talk about he feels new to tarot, but he has very good intuition when he's reading it. Confidence, not as much, but he's been spot on every time I've seen him read. Even for our friends, he'll read going out to dinner. He just he's natural at it. So, yeah. I think I need a different deck for this one, but I'm going to stick with my current one because it's Samhain, and this is the ghost deck. I'm kidding. Let's see. That's some serious. I don't know. Maybe we can get my sigil guide out. I have some really cool dark decks that are not in like wide print or mass print, I guess you could say. But anyway, we are going to become the vessel for the Ghost and Spirit Tarot for Pineapple, wondering why the fuck X is taking so much time coming back into the life romantically. We don't judge the questions, we just try to answer them, right? Alright, so I have a different, I kind of wish I could get my tarot stream up because it's on a different stream pack. I don't know if any of you stream, well I know some of you do obviously, but I have two different stream packs. One is for this podcast thing and one is for my tarot, so I can't move things back and forth between the two. It actually freezes everything up for some reason, so I wanted you to be able to see my tarot field. But anyway, we're gonna do a reading or a spread that I've never done on stream. I have done it personally. I do this a lot for some of my paid tarot reads. So I'll probably piss off a couple clients. Give them for free here, but so this is called the palm spread, palm spread. And what the palm spread is it's 3 cards as the palm trunk, right? And so the palm trunk basically, and this is obviously a Florida thing that we made up kind of as we went. Oh God, we have our mascot. We're gonna have to pause for a second. Hold on. Hold on. We gotta show mascot. Hey!
Oh, you want her on your side? She licked some of your drink, by the way. Hold on.
She will give me a kiss.
She will.
Okay, there we go.
Wait, she has
Mascot
to show her
is
full
here.
beauty.
Okay, you can take it to your stream now. So we're actually, Brad, doing the palm. I know I'm supposed to be using your Brad and Rook are the same person. Brian and Salon the same person. Haha. Hi, how's it going? We're gonna do the palm spread because this is a different kind of question. It's a very specific question, and we're gonna look at what are the things we can do to make that adjustment. And this is leaking. That is so good. Thank you.
Real quick. This is Mademoiselle, ma petite poissette. Mademoiselle, ma petite poissette. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your time.
So if you can imagine a palm spread where the palm stalk is kind of the person asking the question. Many tarot readers call it the querent. I think that sounds too much like the query or the queer the queer person. I don't know why I don't like the word querent. But it is the where am I, where do I want to be, and what do I need to do. So that's your palm stem or trunk. And then there are 5 palm fronds. These palm fronds are, and I'm going to show you what they are. These are, what are the things that I need to do to manifest the right thing to happen? Not what I want, but the right thing to happen. And so we have earth, fire, water, wind, and ether. So if you can see my desk, you've got a huge palm tree made out of cards. So let's go back. Where am I? This is terrible. All I'm gonna say. We have the 2 of Wands, Pineapple. For your first card, this is a card of love and passion between 2 people. So clearly, we're on the right question, right? We're talking about 2 people starting or initiating a process of passion, creativity, love, growth, movement. So this is where you are. So this means that already exists. It does not mean that you are together. It does not mean that you are apart. It just means that it exists. Those 2 people that have that creative mix and that passionate mix together exists. So that's where you are. Where do you want to be? The Queen of Cups. So if we're looking at the Queen of Cups, this is telling me where you want to be. And I swear to God that I shuffled these cards. They make too much sense. The Queen of Cups is all about saying what your desire is to be a consistent, constant emotional process of movement. Okay? So seeing your question, and I know some, I don't really care if people think I'm a hack or not. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter, don't care. So ask questions, feel free. I cannot tell you that this means he still has feelings for you. What I am telling you is that where you exist in this moment, that there is a second part to you that is ready and willing and current to make movement forward. Okay? That does not mean that X is ready to come back into your life romantically. We'll see a little bit more as we go on. I would not say that this card means he still has feelings for you. I would say that this card means that somebody is there close to you, available and appropriate, that can create and make things with you. Okay. The Queen of Cups tells me where you are and what you want and where you want to be, and that tells me you want and are looking for emotional stability and emotional maturity, perhaps in somebody though that's not capable of doing it. But we'll get to that too, because that's going to be answered by the fronds. I don't know if I got close enough on that one. This is a beautiful card. I love these. I don't work with them all that much, but they're really nice. So Queen of Cups in this position is all about you. This is telling you what you need to do, or I'm sorry, not what you need to do. This is telling you, or telling me where you are or where you want to be. Oh dear. The third part of the stem, the trunk, is the moon. Okay? This is going to be extremely important in this reading. The reason this is so important is because in the location or in the layout, this is where things spread out, right? So not only do the fronds on a palm tree or any tree really spread out from the point, I forgot the name of it, actually has a scientific term, where the leaves grow out from the point of new growth on a tree or a plant. It's also where the xylem and phloem, scientifically speaking, bring the water back in and out to those, kind of like our veins and our arteries. So this is the point where things adjust. Okay? So the moon to me is all about contrast. It tells me that things are being illuminated by an alternate light source, by a reflection. You know, just like when the moon illuminates the earth, it's not moonlight, it's sunlight. We're talking about sun. We're talking about male sun, bright energy bouncing off of the moon and reflecting off of the moon onto the earth. So it is creating a contrast with the things that you see. Oftentimes the moon card in this position show up to me when there is something that we think we see and we are comfortable with, but we are wrong about. So I would be very cautious in whatever it is that you think or you're feeling is positive. It might not be a good idea. Or whatever you're feeling that's really terrifying might not be a bad idea. But again, I'm going to read through the cards and the layout, and then we'll go back through and kind of give a little summary so it makes more sense. So then we have the palm fronds, which represent each of the directions or each of the different elements. And these also represent whatever outcome you want. This is some of the things that you need to consider in order to get that outcome. My theory on tarot and on being a witch, I don't believe in the Wiccan read. I don't believe in the threefold law. I don't think that everything is just balance and happy, sad, 50 of one and 50 of the other. I don't believe that. So if there's something that you want out of this, these are things that you can do to make that manifest. You just have to be willing to understand that it's not always going to be exactly a positive thing in the end. There's no answer to that. So we look at your first card. Your first card is in the air section. This would be your east direction. This is the Emperor. Emperor is all about things that you need to consider from an organizational standpoint, from a directorial standpoint. When this shows up, when the Emperor shows up in the air place, it means that you already know what you need to do. You already have the answer to the process. You already have the answer of what you need to do. There's no question about figuring it out, right? You know what you want. You have an idea of what, or you have an idea of how to get it. You have a process. You have all these things are in place, You already know it, you just need to do it. Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles, really another really pretty card. So the Five of Pentacles is often about balance too, but it's a different kind of balance. Five of Pentacles is really talking about how am I going to lay out my process, right? How am I going to divvy up what I have to others, or how am I going to get what I need to make the next step? So when this follows me in the fire position, it really makes me concerned that we're putting a little bit, I'm sorry, I'm hearing an echo, putting a little bit too much. Why is it echoing all of a sudden when it hasn't been for this longest time? Anyway, putting a little bit too much stock into wanting something to be there that may not be there. Okay? Not necessarily a good sign in the question that you asked. In the water section, as we go around the wheel, we have the King of Cups. Perfect place for the King of Cups. King of Cups, and especially a court cover-up. All right, why is this happening now and it hasn't been? What's different? Rook. All of a sudden, I'm hearing every single thing I say back in my ear, and I haven't at all this entire time.
Well, my headset muted.
Okay.
Do you want me
So-
to mute it?
Or perhaps you need to move it in closer to your face so it's not picking up the room instead of. It just needs to pick up you.
Better?
We'll see.
No, I
But I
can.
All right, so the King of Cups generally represents somebody or a person. When I look at what we call the court cards, it generally represents a strong male figure in your life, and this is in an emotional section. So this makes so freaking much sense. We have what you've already mentioned as a Cancer. We have a King of Cups, which is a male of the emotional perspective. And we have the water section. We're in the West right now, right? As we go around the palm tree. So this is telling me that this person actually is lined up. So I would be curious as to why this person is an X in the first place, because it sounds like it was an X of your decision making and not theirs. So why would that be the case if you're looking to kind of get them back? That's confusing to me. It almost seems like you might have broken it off, and then now you're trying to figure out why the hell did I do that? But I'm going to leave that alone because I could be completely off. I don't know. That's just the feeling I'm getting. The next card is actually in the Earth section, and this is the Tower. The Tower is one of my favorite cards that people like to talk about. The Tower is really, really intense. But when you put it in an Earth perspective, not so much. So this is talking about how we look at the foundations of the things that we do, the processes that we put in place. This is the tangible things that we can touch, right? And so if we're talking about the Tower being in our emotional space, what do I need to hear from the Tower in order to manifest the thing I want to do? I need to be less focused on specifics. I need to be willing to let things go. I need to be willing to look at something like, it's okay that happened. I don't need to worry about it. It's all about letting go of anxiety, right? So when you get the Tower to me really represents something more than just what the traditional sense is of the breaking down of a massive foundation system. The Tower is about being okay with change. So when you talk about it from an Earth perspective, what do I need to do? What do I need to know? I need to be okay with change. I need to let things go. I need to be slowly responsive to things and be like, whatever. To be honest with you, it's kind of how I put up with this one on the other end of the desk. So I hope you're still muted because that makes it easier for me. And then finally,
Wait a minute.
finally, we've got the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords is in your, what some people call the ether or the spirit section of the palm. And the Eight of Swords really talks to us about the things that we know have two edges. And when we get to the point of completing or finishing something, we're not quite done with it, but we're now at a point where if I do it right, then I'm going to have this beautiful, fully forged temperance sword. But if I don't, we're going to have a mess. So I want to rephrase a couple of things. We talked about the stem, right, of the poem on the reading. And that stem talked about growing, somebody that wants to be a part of a new creativity with you. It talks about your desire to be with somebody who's emotionally mature, and it talks about the moon as the part where things break off. So there's a contrast missing, or there's a hidden process in the system that you need to focus on. Okay? So then we look at the 5 elements. These are the 4 elements plus either and or your spirit. And we have, in very short, we're going to run through this. We have organization in the field of everything that you know or think. So you need to reorganize how you're thinking. We have, excuse me, we have the need in the fire realm in your creativity to balance. We have the King of Cups, the desire or the availability of a strong, male, stable, emotional person in your emotional section, which is, I can't get a clearer picture than that. And then we have in your Earth, the Tower, your need that in order to move forward, you've got to let go of the little things that are just kind of focused out there. And then your 8 of Swords for your spirit or your emotional section, where you need to really focus and let go of needing things to be perfect and knowing all of the answers. So if I were to take your question and give you a simple answer as a intuitive tarot reader, I would say nothing is taking your ex forever to come back into your life romantically. You have created your own situation, unfortunately for you. And the only way to get to the next step in your situation is to think about what's going on and what you need to do differently, and then allow it to come to you. So I don't think that there's a good answer for this person is or is not coming back into your life. But what I can tell you is if you pay attention to the things that are appropriate, that if you want that person back in your life, you can get them back in your life. I saw a strong connection in the card saying that this person is actually a good fit for you, which is probably despite what a lot of people would say, especially 2 cancers together, dear God. It's like a perpetual sword fight. But I can see it. So I think I don't think it would be a bad thing. But I also don't think it's going to happen in the time frame that you want it to happen to either. So I'll be honest, just the true thought process of something whenever any relationship ends, I'm not a believer in the you never go back, you never reinitiate a relationship. I think that's some of the dumbest things people ever talk about. But the truth of the matter is, if it's somebody that you feel is worth it and you have that much energy in, make sure that you're not obsessed, because the Tower really could represent a potential. Good God, I can't talk. The Tower could actually represent a potential for you to be overly indulgent or overly obsessed with this individual person because they were a good fit, but that doesn't mean they're the only fit. So you need to figure out if that's something you really want. And if it is, then you should work towards it. That's the end of it. And there's no tarot card that can tell you to do that. you just need to make sure that if that's truly the person, the right one for you, or the right person you want to be with, relationships are not compromise. Ever. You don't lower yourself or lessen yourself or compromise yourself to be with somebody. There is no such thing to me as one flame plus one flame equals one brighter flame. You're still two freaking flames, right? You're still two people. You have to be able to be completely individual in and of yourself. So if that's the case, then I'd go for it. I'd be say, hey, look, dude, let's do this again, or do that. I don't know what your way is, but whatever it is, Oh, well, you did say he. Sorry, I'm slow. But I think my message is, or my thought process is, the tarot says, if you want this to work, it can work, but you're going to have to give it A, time, B, you're going to have to put some active work into it. You're going to have to literally say, hey, I want you back. I think we should be together. I know I was X, Y, and Z. Here's what I want to do differently this time. Are you willing to do it? And if he says no, be like, okay, appreciate your time. Still continue to do those things and show that they're possible. And then give that effort to him. And if he jumps and he takes the bait, great. If he doesn't, it is what it is. Can't make people do things they don't want to do.
That's
Well,
right.
Actually, you kind of can, but we won't go there. So, I won't do it right now. I'd be interested to know what his other leanings are as far as his other signs. I'm really into astrology, would love. I can do a birth charts, the whole natal chart, the whole thing. So if you're ever interested in that, I certainly will do that. Would be willing to do that. But I still would be very, very leery of the whole thing because, I think what you're looking for, according to the cards, isn't necessarily what you're going to get. And again, that's going to go back to the Tower. Well, do you need the money? Do you want the money? Does he have to pay it back to you? This is not the tarot speaking, by the way. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging, I'm listening. I'm being rapt attention.
So here's my theory on money. So he messaged you because he owes you money. One of two things is going to happen. Let me tell you how much money Rook owes me.
Really? Wait a minute. Hold the phone.
Well, how did it get so dark? Why do I not notice that?
Hold the phone and all the buttons. Yes, please continue. I want to hear this. This is getting good. It truly is. You have my full attention.
This isn't about you, it's about stream. So the thing is, if it comes down to money and he's messaging you because he owes you money or because whatever the reason is, you're gonna have to to take a split. Is he trying to make it up to you, or is he trying to move on? There's a difference, because sometimes people do that to close and sever their ties. If they're trying to make things right and move on, they might need to take care of those things in the past that allow them to cut those ties and move on. But whatever you do, I would absolutely not use that as a method or a way into getting what it is you think you need. Because in the end, we are all, and this is my personal opinion, not the tarot talking, we are all 100% better by ourselves than we are with somebody if they're not the person that, that's with us for the right reason. And again, like I said before, don't believe in any type of compromise in a relationship, because you are two individuals. And that's one of the things I think that have kept me and Rook together for so long without fighting. We've never had a true fight in 13 years. We've never had a knockdown, drag out argument. We've never, you know, angered each other to the point of wrecking their car. Okay, yeah, maybe one time. But the point is, it's not worth it. You don't usurp yourself into somebody else. You don't blend your humanity and your individuality into somebody else. You are still two separate people. So I think my last bit of personal advice would be just, you know, if you want to be with this person in any type of relationship, then you have to let the money go, because that doesn't matter anymore. If you want the money back, then you're going to get the money back, and then we'll find out if you have anything else. Yeah, he's probably frustrated. Who knows? So I'd have one more person in the queue. That is Savage Sylvie. If you are still around, please just send a message. I am sorry, I'm slow. It is what I do. Until then, we'll get a reading started. But I think my ultimate, like, you know, we could really go round and round about all kinds of things about what we do. But I will tell you, to me, the key to a happy marriage and a happy relationship is do not lose yourself in the relationship. You can't, I see it, Rook, have another drink. I can't imagine being in a relationship where I have to usurp myself into it versus still being my own self. You're welcome, Pineapple. I hope that helped and gave you some kind of insight. And if it was completely messed up, I am always willing to do a clarifying read after I get through the queue. So Sylvie, do you have a general read, or is there a specific question you would like me to ask of the Ghost and Spirits Tarot? All right, let's do general. Oh, dude, we have to talk about that when we're done. There probably won't be anybody left on stream, but we're going to put it down. We did a ghost hunt this past weekend. Excuse me. In Diggs / Matthews, Virginia. It was really cool. So we might talk about that in a minute, but let's do this clear of mind first. Don't want any interjections until after the read. Okay, Lexi's mad. Dude, it was so much fun. As soon as we're done doing the read with Sylvie, if I know everybody's probably ready to go to bed, but we will do some discussion about it. We'll talk about it, and then we might add it to another stream. I think we're going to do an afternoon stream tomorrow just to kind of cover a couple of other things we wanted to talk about. Sylvie. Let us see what the cards have to say. Y'all are going to laugh at me if I show you something. Let me show you something. These are all the decks that I own. Now, when I mentioned I have a problem, I'm just letting you know I have a problem. My Virgo makes me put them all in order. I know. Some people call me a hoarder. I don't think I'm a hoarder. I think I'm a collector.
What?
What nut are you for?
That's not very nice. All right. So, Sylvie, let's do a general read here and see what we get. Um, 3 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, Knight of Cups. We have the Pentacles, Swords. Oh God, we got quite a few. All right. So we are going to start off. Let me get where's my screen at? I need to see. There it is. Okay. So we are starting off on a general read right here. This is the 9 of Wands, right? 9 of Wands.
9 of Wands.
So if we are looking at this as a process, the 9 of Wands is looking at traditionally, I keep saying process. I don't know why that's in my vocabulary. It has to be the red wine. This is weird. Do we have any more? Say it right here. Thank you. Oh, the cup's right here.
Yes, but do you need any more? That's the question.
Need or want? There's difference. Here you go.
Okay,
Hey, keep me up.
Yeah, I have 136 decks. But anywho, so the Knight of Wands is, well, actually, let me actually back up because I wanted to point out this is the only wand in the group. And being that I do a 6-card draw, it's kind of a pyramid. I really wish I could show you guys. So it's 3, 2, 1, with each one being in need or being in connection with the other. So the 9 of Wands, again, we're looking at a 0 to 10. I kind of look at my tarot cards as a progression of a system or a thing that you're thinking about. So this is telling me, in general, or what I'm feeling, that you've been working on something for a while now. It's not new. It's taken a lot of your energy. It's a creative project, probably. But it's really taken a lot out of you. This could be, and these are just some random examples that I can think of, because I don't know what your situation is, but some random samples of, I don't know, starting a new art gallery. I don't know. I can't think of anything good right now, but you've been on this process for a while. You've been working on this, whatever this is, for a minute, and you're looking back on it and you're seeing, I don't see anything. Okay, I'm not seeing any outcome. I don't see any benefit from all this work I've put into this thing. What a waste. And that's how you're feeling. That's how I'm getting how you're feeling anyway. So the idea is that you put all this energy in and you're looking back on it and you feel kind of like you've wasted a lot of time, or your benefit is not as big as what you put into it. That's the thought process. And then I go to the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles generally talks about starting something new, right? Well, we're not in there right now. We're going to go along the line of whatever this is that you've been working on, and that's where I really think is going on here. So the Ace of Pentacles is basically telling me whatever it is, you may have had an extra person or a second person help you, but the Ace of Pentacles says this is something you need to complete on your own. So this could mean, I like to use the example of starting a business, and it's the best I can think of. So maybe you start a business, you've been working on the business, and you put a lot of energy into the business, but your partner is an asshole. This is whatever it is, you need to do it by yourself. This is a loner process. So you're nearing the end of all this hard work, and you're thinking, oh my God, this is such a waste. Well, you know what? This is because you've relied too much on somebody else, and you need to make sure that this person is involved, which is you. Only one person is involved, that's you. The Ten of Swords is actually interesting, not in a good place in this particular reading for me. And it's telling me that you, again, are thinking about this thing and you've thought about it. You've thought about it so much. You've gone back and forth and back and forth, and you have considered every particular outcome that could have occurred, and it's still not working. Now, I can go back to this last card and say it's not working because you're not the one putting in all the energy. You're relying too much on somebody else. So you're looking back, you feel like you haven't done it. You need to focus on what it is that you need to do differently. It's not working. You're not getting the outcome you want. You're not getting where you want to be. So let's go into the final part of this, which is the top of the basically upside down triangle. You have Three of Pentacles, Page of Cups, and Knight of Cups. So overall, this is telling me there is a missing link in this program or this process or this thing that you're working on. What I would gather is you started it out with somebody. You need to boot that somebody. They're a drag. There is somebody that is in your life right now that you are putting way too much stock into, and you know that. You need to let it go because it's not helping you any. It's not getting you to where you need to be. It's breaking your stability down. The Page of Cups is telling me that there is a completely different person in your life that you need to probably pay a little bit of attention to, that has offered you advice and has been an ear for you to kind of lean on, a shoulder to lean on, an ear that you can talk to, but you may not have given them the attention that you should. So I would look for usually guys, sometimes women, and I use that binary, but it doesn't really matter ultimately, right? But there's somebody who's willing to listen to you and be that person that you can, let it out on, but you're refusing to do it. You need to find that person and allow them to be that person for you, because you've got to let out that energy. And then ultimately, we end with the Knight of Cups. So when we look back at all of the things that are going on as it pertains to your life, we have you looking back and feeling like you're working really hard, but you're not getting a result. You're the one that needs to do the work, nobody else. It doesn't matter what you do at this point. You're not going to get the outcome you want. Sorry, can't help it. That's what the cards are saying. But you can make progress. And how do you do that? Pay attention to who's around. Find the person who's willing to let you vent. And work on the emotional outcome of the process. So this is going to be a lot of hard work. You've already put most of it in. So I hope that gives you some insight into whatever it is you're looking at or working on. If you need more clarification, feel free to ask. And Fine Apple, thank you so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it. This is our first stream in a long time. It's been amazing. I've had a great time. It's been very nice. I hope you have a wonderful evening too. I'm sure I will see you in a stream somewhere. Have a good night. Have a good night. Oh my God, it's gotten hot in here again.
Yeah, it has. It's really hot.
Yes. You're hurting my heart, Sylvie. We will always do Drunk Friday nights. I think this is definitely going to be a thing. Whether we do the witch history or not, I don't care. So, I think we'll find some additional, kind of thought things to do here and there. But I kind of like how this went. I enjoyed the time. I don't know. I don't remember who I said was going to be next week. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I am going to put away the Ghost Spirits Tarot because this is definitely not the deck I've worked with the most. Sylvie, thank you for calling me the hack. I really appreciate the frankness, and I will tear up later. Cry a little bit later. You never know. The way that I do tarot, especially just kind of in general, there's no way to really figure out, or me to even come up with where it's supposed to go or what it means to you or how the process works. All I can say is that, you know, a lot of people look for specific things in tarot to answer questions that they're looking on, but when you ask a specific question, you generally get an answer that focuses on what it is you're doing or what it is you're looking for. When you ask a general question or you're looking for a general reading, it can be applied in so many different ways. So what I would look for, or what I would think about, is, are there projects that you've been working on for a long time? Or are there situations in life that you have been kind of getting to the stale point of, where you're kind of like, I'm not really sure what I want to do next or how that's going to turn out. And that's where the general reading comes in place. It's looking for the things in a general daily life that occur or that happen. So, you scared me? I don't know. I'm sure you've been working on something at some point, but if not, who knows? Maybe you will be. Is that the air conditioner? Okay, the air conditioner finally turned on. Got hot in here. Well, you're still welcome to join us on any Drunk Friday night. I can certainly draw additional cards, but you know, I do want to make a hack emote. Oh my god, I've had so much trouble making emotes though in general. Like, when I first started streaming, I only streamed video games, right? And a friend of mine, and my screen name for all my games is Palms Piranhas, so it's all, you know, Florida, palms, that kind of thing. And we made a whole bunch of emotes and icons and all these other pieces, and we put them together. But now that I'm kind of switching back over and jumping over to this other process, it's a little different. Trying to figure out what emotes to use and how to do a joint stream like this, and why my lighting keeps getting so screwed up. Like, I just keep looking over and I'm like half disappeared. Blue Moon Wild, it's been great. We have had a blast. We really enjoyed the Witchstory. Sorry, don't want to trademark anything there. Did a little bit of tarot, even though you have met your hack for the night. We're going to make that hack emote somewhere. I need help with that though. Somebody's going to have to help me. And I think we're probably going to end relatively soon. Rook keeps disappearing. Not sure exactly why or where he's going, so my guess is he's probably getting tired. 1 o'clock is not a normal time for him. For me it is. I'm usually up pretty late. But yeah. Oh yeah, I absolutely will be commissioning some of those things at some point, no doubt. First I've got to figure out how to get this room, you know, balanced out so that we can both stream a joint stream in here without messing it up. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Yeah. No, I'll tell you, I have been doing tarot and oracle cards for 25 years or so. I don't particularly like doing tarot on Twitch If you look at any of my streams, I maybe 5 times. It's just not a big thing for me, and I especially don't probably shouldn't actually do it while I'm drinking either, because that tends to mess me up a little bit. But regardless, I still enjoy it. I still have fun with it. I still think it has a message for you somewhere. Even when nothing seems to line up, there's still a process for it. So, and yeah, Blue Moon, we definitely will do some more tarot streams. Right now, we're only committing to every Friday at 11 o'clock for the Drunk Witchstory, Drunk Witch History, and Wine and Witches, however we want to call it. But we'll do some readings afterwards, I'm sure. We just did a couple. I will tell you, the wine is seriously kicking in at this point. Probably not the best idea for me to continue doing a lot of tarot. So yeah. And definitely happy Samhain to you too. Very much. Rook doesn't even have his headphones on, so apparently he's done. I'm kidding.
You said it was reverberation.
It was, but I know why. I just don't want to yell it out on the stream.
Why?
Because your mic, you set it out so that it catches everything instead of you. Yeah, I'm going to glue that to your mouth. Yeah, I can't respond to that. So, I told him that earlier. I said that shirt is not matched. Like, I don't do formal. I do not wear, oh my God, I cannot do the suits for work just to kill me. Like, I have to wear suits once in a while. It's terrible.
It's Halloween. Happy Halloween.
I'm a nurse by trade.
Well, I was a nurse too.
And this is not enough wine for a nurse. See, I came dressed so that I could show off my tattoo when people asked. That was my goal for life. Yeah. I have tits. Sorry. Probably shouldn't say that. Just kidding. Not really. But yeah. Happy Halloween, motherfuckers. I love that. I don't know.
Bitches.
I don't know how I feel. Sylvie called me a hack. I'm a little hurt. I'm kidding, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. Where's the heart? There it is. Yeah. But yes, happy Halloween, because it is now October 31st and has been for an hour and a half. Happy Samhain. I don't know if you can say happy Samhain for some people, because it's not necessarily the happiest, but tomorrow, Saturday, it seems like, if I remember correctly, I know Malice has some things going on. We're going to try to participate in that. Yeah. But we are doing our own ritual, doing some homage to some of our ancestors and some of those in our life that have passed. We've had some really rough times the past couple of years as far as people that are no longer with us. So we'll be doing that. So I'm kind of excited about that, to kind of sit and just really think about, in the past couple of years, we've lost some good friends, some really amazing family members, and people that aren't around anymore. And we want to make sure that they are remembered and that they can find the light to get to where they need to go and to still be connected with us, Yes. We are definitely Ink family, that is for sure. I think of all of my tattoos, my favorite is one of my early ones, which was the around the arm here, which is that game, because when we have time, I want to go through them all and kind of explain how each one had an impact. Because, without getting into too much detail, that goes from the time in my life where I was depressed to the point where things didn't go the way they should have. And, a lot of people go through that, so anyway. Yeah, I think we're kind of hitting the point where we're done. We've done 2.5 hours. We've done our history. We've done a couple of tarot readings. We've had some conversations. Um, and I think we're ready to call it at the end for tonight so that we can relax for a little bit, cool off because it's hot as shit balls in here.
It's warm in here, but that AC was too loud.
Yeah. So again, thank you for everybody who came in. I know we got a Fine Apple. We got a new follow. We had V Cox RN was a new follow. Really, really do appreciate that. And I think we definitely want to keep this off at minimum weekly every Friday at 11 p.m. Blue Moon, I'm not sure about tomorrow. One of my goals is to not pull from anybody else in the community at the moment. So we're looking at adjusting our schedule to kind of fit in certain spots. My goal really isn't to bump up. It's really to just kind of balance out some of the community. So we're going to definitely continue our 11 p.m. every Friday. Tomorrow we will be on. Potentially, if other people that we participate with are not on. If they are, we will likely be participating with them. So that's kind of where we are with that. But anyway, thanks again so much. I'm glad you stopped in. I'm sure I'll see you guys all around somewhere. And hope you have a wonderful Samhain. Hope you enjoy your night. And if you guys have any questions, concerns, issues, questions, please feel free to ask at any time. So
be safe, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Be on the horn. She's awesome. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.